Hi everybody, today we are going to learn about antonyms. Our objective for today is to identify antonyms. You will need a pencil, your Voyages grammar book. So what is an antonym? Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. So last week we learned about synonyms and those were the same. This week we're learning about antonyms, which mean the opposite. Antonyms do not have similar definitions. They have different definitions. So it's not like last week. It's the opposite of last week. So for example, if we look at these two sentences, we can see one says the feather is light. One says the brick is heavy. There are two words in those two sentences that are antonyms or the opposite of each other. Do you think you can see which ones are the two antonyms? Light and heavy. Those are the two antonyms. We know that because we can see that they are meaning the two opposite things. So a feather is light. That means it doesn't weigh a lot. I can pick it up pretty easily. The brick is heavy. The word heavy means I cannot pick it up easily and that it weighs a lot. So these are some more antonyms. I'm going to read the words on the left, and I want you to think if you can come up with a word that has the opposite meaning of each of these. Remember, these are similar to synonyms in the sense that if you have one word like down, there might be multiple antonyms that mean the opposite. But try and think, what are the opposite of each of these words? We have down, big, on, and right. So these are the antonyms that we have. Down is the opposite from up, big is the opposite from little, on is the opposite from off, and right is the opposite from wrong. So something else you could have said, maybe for big, you could have said tiny instead of little. That's still an antonym because it still means the opposite. Or instead of right, you could have said incorrect. That means the same thing as a wrong. So those are still opposites. Right and incorrect are still antonyms. So let's go ahead and practice. Go ahead and take out your grammar book and turn to page 160. So here I am on page 160. We are working with antonyms. Now remember that antonyms are words that have the opposite meanings. I've underlined the word opposite so that we are reminded that it's not the same. It is different. So the definitions are different. Let's read these examples. These are all pairs of antonyms. So they're two words that mean the opposite of each other. Always and never, strong and weak, right and wrong, light and heavy, inside and outside, open and close, night and day, come and go, and on and off. These are all examples of two words that are antonyms. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each sentence aloud. Then I'm going to write the antonym of the underlined word. Use the words in the bricks for help. So these are my pairs, and I'm going to see how can I use them in a sentence to show the opposite meaning. So number one says the answer is right. So I'm going to check up here. What was my antonym for the word right? Exactly, it's wrong. So I just wrote in here wrong. Then it would say the answer is wrong. You don't need to rewrite the whole sentence. You just need to replace each word with an antonym. Go ahead and work on numbers 2 to 5. We're all done with 160. We're going to move on to 161. On page 161, we are going to rewrite the full sentence. We can see we have this sentence line. When you're writing your sentences, please remember to have a capital and your period here. Okay, we need to remember those when we're copying our sentences. So we're going to write each sentence, replace the underlined word with its antonym, which means the opposite. Use the word bank. So I can go ahead and go back to page 160 if I need to and check the pairs. Number 1, please close the door. I circled the word close just to remind myself that that is the word that I am looking for the opposite of. So let's see if I can find the opposite of close. I think it's open, and I can double check on page 160, and I know that closed and open are opposites, so they are antonyms. So I'm going to rewrite this as please, please. I'm not going to say close the door because I'm looking for the opposite, which is open. Open the door. So as you can see, I actually know that these are antonyms because it changes the meaning of the sentence. Here I wanted you to close it, and here I want you to open it. So the meanings are different, they're opposite, so that's how I know I use the right antonym. Go ahead and finish this page, and then I want you to write in your writer's corner, which says write 2 sentences about things you have to do. Use the antonyms night and day. You can write them maybe one up here and the second one right down here. Okay? When you are all finished, I can't wait to see your stuff on Seesaw, so make sure that you take a photo and show me your work.